the books are read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He is one of, let's say, favorite coach, hypnotist, and a trainer, no other than Mr. Duff Mcduffee.
Thanks for having me, Daniel.
Welcome to Book 101, Mr. Duff. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
Sure. Yeah, I'm a trainer, a coach, and hypnotist here in Boulder, Colorado. And I've been working with people for a long time, maybe a couple decades here, really helping them make change at the unconscious level. That's why I'm really passionate about hypnosis because we can try to make changes at the conscious level, right? We can force ourselves with willpower and so on, but so often that doesn't work very well. But if we can make changes at the unconscious level, it just goes much more smoothly. So that's what I like to do.
Smoothly indeed. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So let's talk about punishment paradigm versus the progress. Can you tell us about this?
Yes. So I think you have my website up here on the screen here and the trends of toxic productivity. So many people were trying to get things done in a stressful way. I don't know if you can relate, but you probably
Yes.
have a to-do list a mile long, right? And you're trying to push yourself, force yourself to get more done from what I call have to mode, which that's like, I have to get more done, right? I have to do this,
Yes.
I have to do that. And we can do things that way. That's called the punishment paradigm. It's not great, though. It causes a lot of stress. What I mean by punishment paradigm is this: it's the idea that the best or only way to motivate ourselves is with fear and pain. So we put deadlines on ourselves. And when we don't get something done, we go, what's wrong with me? Right. And we feel bad. And this sort of thing, we have negative self talk, which leads to feeling maybe angry or ashamed or feeling bad about ourselves. We can get things done that way. A lot of things do get done that way for better or worse, but it's not the only way to get things done, thankfully.
Thankfully. So how you define this common approach to motivation? What are its hallmarks?
Yes, so I'd actually say there's eight sort of anti principles here that can get you in the punishment paradigm if you're not careful. But when we get aware of these, it can get us out of it. So the first one is conform to the norm or be punished. Conform to the norm or else, really. So, like, if there's a normal way of doing something, we're like, you have to do it that way. Right? You have to do it
Mm,
the normal way. You have to have the normal job. You have to have the normal, way of doing whatever it is. But that keeps us trapped in a box where we feel like there's only one way of doing something. The second principle, our anti-principle, really here in the punishment paradigm. If you want to suffer, this is how you do it, right? So the second anti-principle is do it how we've always done it. So if you've done a certain way, just stick with that forever. Don't improvise. Don't come up with a new or better way of doing things. The third way, force people to do things. Force yourself to do the thing that's on your to-do list. Push yourself really hard. Now, this is all terrible advice, but this is the advice if you want to get into a stress state around doing things, right? The fourth anti-principle, delete the possibilities. So there's always infinite ways of doing something, but if you get really into a narrow box, that's going to make you stressed. Uh, the fifth thing, you really don't want to do any of these, but the fifth thing is taking in the bad, right? Like if you make a mistake, make sure you really dwell on that. That will make you feel miserable. The sixth thing, if you're trying to make improvements, no, don't make improvements. Just ignore feedback. Just ignore anything that comes through. And the seventh thing, if you really want to punish yourself a lot, make things hard work. Make it harder than it needs to be, even so that you can feel like you're really working hard. And then the eighth thing, if you really want to be in the punishment paradigm, if you really want to do things from fear, from stress, is see everything as a competition. Don't see like that you can work together with other people, but see it as a competition. Now, competition is inherently bad, but there's always winners and losers in a competition. You can't go for win-win that way. So, this is all terrible advice. Like, if you want to live in a stressful way, that's how you do it. But luckily, there's a completely opposite way of doing things called the progress paradigm. And what I mean by the
yes.
progress paradigm is maybe there's a better way to motivate ourselves, not from fear and pain, but from love and joy. From love and joy. And when we start to motivate ourselves from love and joy, we don't decrease our energy over time and head towards burnout. We increase our energy over time and head towards more and more aliveness and passion and being in the flow. And so there's 8 principles of the progress paradigm too. I'll just quickly run through them. So the first one, instead of conform to the norm or be punished, it's go beyond the goal of normal. Our goal isn't to be normal. My goal in life, not to be normal. But a lot of people's goal in life is just do the normal thing, just be normal. And so that's a hidden unconscious goal though, right? So people aren't saying that's their goal, but as soon as something gets a little out of the box, they're like, no, I can't do that. I can't be myself because I don't fit the cultural norm or the social norm, whatever that is. But what if it was okay? What if it was okay to just do your weird thing? Right. So second principle, instead of doing it how we've always done it, think like a designer. So designers are like, well, what are we trying to accomplish here? Not what have we done in the past, but what do we want to create? Maybe something that's never existed before. Right. So if we're thinking like a designer, we're going to experiment. We're going to maybe run a prototype, an iteration, try something that might not work, but you can learn from it. Right. So that's going to be pretty cool. Instead of forcing people to do things, like forcing yourself or others to do things, we're going to focus on increasing your sense of choice and possibility, really seeing all the possibilities. And that's going to lead into the fourth thing, which is seeing all the possibilities. So when you have a sense of choice, when you're not forcing yourself with have to, and then you can start to see more options to choose from, and you feel more empowered and you feel more optimistic. And then instead of taking in the bad, really focusing on all your mistakes and all the things that are wrong with you and so on, we're going to take in the good. Instead of
The
asking
good
what's
one.
wrong with you, what's right with you, right? We're going to start to focus on what's working, gratitude, what's good about the world, what's good about you. Instead of denying failure, ignoring feedback, punishing mistakes, we're going to transform failure into feedback that we can learn from by being kind to ourselves, practicing self-compassion. Instead of making it needlessly hard work, we're going to make the difficult easy. We're going to try to find flow states and find ways to do things in ways that are easy and enjoyable that really work for your brain. And instead of seeing everything as a competition all the time, we're going to go for win-win. We're going to try to lift each other up and find ways to work together.
Find ways to work together, people. Let's unite and let's empower each other.
That's right.
Beyond just being ineffective, what is the hidden cause of operating under the punishment paradigm on our stress
Yes.
level?
That's a
Joy?
great question. That's a great question, right? So yeah, people don't necessarily think there's any problem with it sometimes. They focus on maybe self-discipline or pushing themselves or even pushing other people to do what they want. But here's the thing. Imagine somebody is always pushing you to do what they want and you don't really want to do it. Right? Maybe you give in once, maybe you give in twice, but after a few times you're going to be like, "Hey, this person's kind of a jerk," right? Like I don't know if I want to even spend time with this person. But what if that person is you to yourself? Uh-oh, you're stuck with yourself, right? If you keep pushing yourself all the time, what happens to your relationship with yourself? It doesn't get very good. It gets worse over time. You can do it a little bit, right? You can force yourself, push yourself to get through. At the end of the day, though, you're pretty tired. You do that again, you do it again, you do it again, day after day, month after month, year after year. That's a one-way ticket to Burnout City. You're going to end up, you're going to end up real tired, right? And a lot of people are dealing with that even since 2020, right? With the COVID pandemic, the lockdowns, people finally got a break sometimes for a few weeks from work. And they're like, oh my God, I've been so stressed. I'm starting to rest. And then we went right back to normal, right? But normal is not really working for most people. That's a problem, right? Conform to the norm, or else we're conforming to the norm of stress, of busyness, of hustle culture. And that's just burning people out. 50% of the whole workforce qualifies as burned out. That means they're underperforming. They're not feeling good about going into work. That's not a great situation. That's a bad design. But we can redesign work to work for everybody. We can start to redesign things to tap into our aliveness, our joy, especially if you're an entrepreneur. Now, the funny thing is, I work with a lot of entrepreneurs as a coach, and a lot of them come to me and they say, I quit my job and I started my own business so I didn't have to work for somebody else, so I could be my own boss. but I'm the worst boss I ever had. I push myself all the time. Like, this is so common, right? And we can all relate to this if we're entrepreneurs. We're like, yeah, right, yeah, we could always be working, right? If you have your own business, you could always be working. It's not just 9 to 5. It's whenever you have time. But when we do that, it's not going to be sustainable unless you're in the flow, unless you're in joy and love. Then you might be able to do that. But it's also okay to take breaks, to rest, to restore your energy in positive ways, to connect with your family, connect with your friends, connect with nature, finding ways to restore so that we're not burning out, but we're actually filling up with more energy over time. And that's really the hidden cost of the punishment paradigm. It hurts your relationships with others, with yourself, and it just drains your energy ultimately.
To restore the balance itself, people. And Mr. Duff, what are the practical ways to intentionally build more enjoyment into tasks we typically dread or approach with resistance?
Great question. That's exactly right. Yeah, you probably have something on your to-do list right now that you're putting off. You're procrastinating. We all do, right?
Indeed.
Something that really you think about it and just energy just sucks right out of your body. So what do we do for that? Well, there's lots of different ways we can do something with that, but here's just one simple one. So, uh, when we have something that we're struggling to get started with, we don't have the natural motivation, right? What if we tap into our motive, our reason for doing it in the first place? So in the punishment paradigm, you could just try to force yourself to do it. And lots of advice says that, right? Like if you're not feeling it, just push yourself, just force yourself. Again, that can work in the short term, that can work for a little while. But if you're doing that all the time with all of your tasks, that's not gonna fly, right? So instead, we can start to ask why. Why do I even want this done? Especially if you put the task on your list yourself, like I do. Like I'm an entrepreneur, I put tasks on my own list. I've decided I want to do this, but then when it comes to do it, I look at it and go, oh, no, I don't want to do that. So it helps me and helps many of my clients is to really ask why. Why do I even want this done? Now, the first answer might not be motivating. It might be something like, well, I just want to check it off. I just want to get it off my list. That might be a little bit motivating, but let's go deeper. Okay. So, what else? Why else do you want to get it done? If you're in a business that serves customers, you might be like, oh, well, this is going to help people. This is going to make their lives better. This is going to, this is going to serve the customer more. And then I'm going to make more money. Okay. Now I'm starting to feel more motivated, right? I'm feeling the motivation of helping people. And I'm starting to connect with that, feeling I'm feeling love or joy. And from that state, then you take action from there. That's going to be a much more sustainable fuel to get you through the day. It only takes a few minutes to really connect with that why, but you really got to feel into it. Really got to feel into it until you get the feeling going and it changes your state.
Mr. Duff, as a coach, hypnotist, and a trainer, what are your short term and long term goals?
Oh, what are my short term and long term goals? Thanks for asking. My short term goal is actually to get on a lot of podcasts like this and to share the message of the progress paradigm because I think a lot of people could really use this. In fact, that's also my long term goal to finish the book I'm writing on this topic called The Joy of Doing. Haven't published it yet, but working on it. And to really get this out on a bigger stage because there's lots of specifics to this. There's lots of details to this. This is a big shift for people. It's in some ways it's very small, you know, don't motivate yourself from fear and pain, motivate yourself from joy and love instead. In some ways that's very, very small. But this goes really deep. It goes into how we run businesses, how we parent our kids, how we treat ourselves, how we are in relationships, and so on. And I really want to get out the word about all of this on a bigger stage so that we can really start to embody this and see it, recognize it. Like when we start talking to ourselves and others in terms of have to, must, should, it's not just about changing the words to get to or want to. If you're not feeling it, it's about changing the feeling first and getting into a different state using tools like from hypnosis or neurolinguistic programming that can change at the unconscious level. And then the words start to change because we're actually inspired, we're lit up, we're wanting to do the thing.
And well, good luck to your goals, Mr. Duff, and looking forward for more success. What would be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be a coach, want to be hypnotist, as well as a trainer?
Great. Yeah, great suggestion. If you are interested in hypnosis specifically, there's a great conference every year in Las Vegas called Hypnothoughts Live. It's 3 full days of just jam packed hypnosis sessions, and it's fascinating. There's so many great trainers teaching so many great techniques for changing at the unconscious level. You don't even have to be a hypnotist to go to Hypnothoughts Live. It's just a lot of fun too. It's in Las Vegas. Great time. So I'd recommend you check that out. There's also pre and post conferences. I'm actually going to be teaching something there on Sunday this year at 10 a.m. if you want to join me, called Ecstatic Trance Experience, where we're going to be moving our bodies, making some noise, and getting into ecstatic flow states, which is related to all this progress paradigm stuff. Because if you can do something in a flow state, it doesn't feel like you're even doing anything. There's no effort, right? Like maybe you got into a flow state before, like skiing down a mountain, or maybe it's writing something that you really involved and enjoyed, or playing a video game that you just got sucked into. When we're in those flow states, it's like time stops and we're just totally absorbed in what we're doing. And that's what hypnosis and trance is all about. Just getting totally absorbed into the moment, which feels wonderful, feels healing, feels like a spiritual experience. But we can also be doing something and getting something done at the same time. And that's really incredible magic.
Thank you for your advice, Mr. Dove, and looking forward for that book that you are creating. Please do come over and let's talk about it and promote to the world.
Great.
And how does connecting our actions to our core values fuel motivation within the progress paradigm in a way that external pressure simply cannot?
I love it. Yeah, that's a great question. That's like a deeper motive, a deeper reason is these values. What really matters to you? Now, the big question that we can ask to elicit your values is, why is that important to you? Why is that important to you? I'm often asking my clients this. So you want something, I don't know, you want to exercise in the morning. Why is that important to you? Your answer is going to be different than my answer or somebody else's answer. Maybe for you, it's it just gets your energy going in the morning. Maybe for someone else, makes them feel good about themselves. Maybe for someone else, it makes them feel like their appearance is changing in the way they want to change, and that makes them feel good. For somebody else, it's because are stronger and they can support their family with the energy they have. But asking, why is that important to you? And maybe even going deeper. Okay, so let's say you have the better looking body. Why is that important to you? And keep going deeper. In fact, that relates exactly, good segue, to a book that I wanted to recommend people read called Core Transformation. This is an
Yes.
incredible book by Connie Ray Andreas and Tamara Andreas. This is a life changing book right here. Look, I've got all these tabs in here. I've marked up the heck out of this book, read it several times over the years. I got this copy $8.50 used at a used bookstore. And it was absolutely a life changing book. So, Core Transformation is all about asking this question about what's important to you, but with a hypnotic twist. So, everything we do habitually, good or bad, positive, negative, it's like there's an unconscious part of you that's doing that thing, whether that's, you run a certain thought loop, right? Maybe you do beat yourself up with some negative self talk. Most people do. Or maybe you have a feeling of anxiety or anger or sadness that just comes up and you're like, I don't know what this is or how to get rid of it, right? Or how to change it. Or maybe you have some behavior, smoking or eating sweets or going on social media or whatever it is that you want to change. All that stuff's unconscious, right? You don't have to put it on your to-do list. Remember to go on social media today. Oh, dang it, I forgot again. Right? Remember to smoke that pack of cigarettes. Oh man, I keep forgetting. No, it's unconscious. It's automatic. It's a habit, which means willpower against your unconscious mind, willpower is going to lose every time, right? Unless you're incredibly strong for some reason. But most of us, if we try to fight against the unconscious doesn't use any energy. It doesn't drain us to maintain a habit. But if we can get in touch with that unconscious part and we can have a little conversation with it, right? In imagination, in experience, we have a little conversation with this part of us and we ask you, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want by making me feel this way or think this way or act this way? And we start to get answers. And then we invite the part to step into having that. So it starts to feel satisfied. So it can start to loosen up. It can start to let go. And we ask, what do you want through having that? That's even deeper or more important. That's where we start getting those deeper values. We keep going this way. What do you want through having that that's even deeper and more important? What do you want through having that that's even deeper and more important? And we keep going as deep as it goes until there's something no deeper. And that ends up being some wonderful state of being, like peace, like universal love, like just being, like feeling okay, like feeling joy. Now, these may sound like just words. In fact, when I picked up this book originally from the used bookstore, I looked through it and I saw, oh, peace, love, joy, oneness, blah, blah, blah. I know that stuff already. And I didn't even read it. I just put it on the bookshelf. And then it was months later when I was like, oh, I wonder if there's some technique that's really gentle, that's really loving, that really welcomes all parts of me. Because I don't want an inner war anymore. I want inner peace. And I was like, oh, what is this book? And I looked through it and I'm like, oh, that's exactly what this does. Wow. And so I started actually doing the exercises from the book. And eventually I got so much benefit from it. I started working for the people who wrote the book and I started doing marketing for them for their trainings. And I've seen so many people benefit from this technique. I use it with my coaching clients all the time. It's gentle, it's loving, it's beautiful. If you don't want to force yourself with self-discipline anymore, if that's not working for you, as much as you'd like, you could either push harder or you could go in this direction and go more loving, more self-compassionate, understanding yourself at a deeper and deeper level until you get to something like inner peace or beingness, and you can still do stuff from there. That's the progress paradigm at the deepest level, is to tap into your state of being at your core. This may sound very abstract, but it's not. It's just feeling good. It's just feeling basically good. And when you feel basically good and you do something, there's no stress. And when there's no stress, you're not building up stress over time. You're not leading towards more and more burnout. You're leading towards more and more aliveness, more connection with what's so important to you. And that starts to radiate out, starts to influence people around you. It starts to benefit them, increase your connection with your closest friends, family members, partner. And it's just an incredibly beautiful thing.
Incredible indeed, Mr. Duff. Before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essays are already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, book 101 review in fifth season as well, comedy 101 in second season, food 101 in its fifth season, geography 101 in its fourth season, and my baby podcast, Low 101 and Mental Health 101. Love Letters in third season, Movie 101 Review and Music 101 in fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. Mr. Duff, what's one simple, joyful practice listeners can try today to take their first step out of the punishment paradigm and into the progress paradigm?
At the end of your day, instead of saying, what's all the things I didn't get done today, automatically start to retrain your brain to focus on what went well. What went well
Yes.
today? Pick one thing, two things, if you can do three things, even better, and really feel good about what you've accomplished or what happened. And that will start to put you on the right path.
Yes, indeed. Count your blessing. I'm so blessed that Mr. Duff is my guest today on Book 101 Review. Mr. Duff Mcduffee, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your projects, or your upcoming book to come?
Yes, go over to boulderhypnosisworks.com and check it out. Get on my email list or hire me as a coach. Join my Sunday coaching group. Got lots to offer that can help you to make that switch into the progress paradigm. I'd love to
Yes.
connect. Thank you.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Duff Mcduffee because if you support him, more and more and more empowering books to come. Looking forward for that, and more and more and more empowering coaching to come. And of course, hypnosis too. Mr. Duff, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel.
More to come, people. See you soon.